Explain like I'm 5. Why are we the only species who needs to use toilet paper? Title: We don't need to. Per se. But it's a convenient and relatively hygienic way to remove poop particles that stick around after the deed is done. Not doing so leads to rashes and itchiness. And if you've ever seen a dog or cat drag its ass across your carpet, you know that we're not the only species who deals with that particular problem. ETA yes. Most commonly the butt dragging problem is a symptom either of an issue with anal glands or a symptom of worms. But I've seen some do it to get rid of a dingleberry. Most do just lick though. As a child I spent time near cows. I've owned a few dogs, and have spent more time at zoos than is probably normal. In my limited experience your statement is not true. I've seen many a cow, known more than one dog, and witnessed various species of zoological captives whose bum needed a good once-over. Some dogs, of course, do wipe their ass dragging it in the grass if you're lucky and on your carpets if you are not. One particular dog I had was fastidious about getting a good wipe in. If there remained a feeling of insufficient ejection after a poo. We're not the only species that needs to, we're the only species that does. Other species lick their assholes clean and many will rub their itchy dirty butts on the ground. Because our bodies are adapted to bipedalism, putting our anus out of reach of our tongues. You can rub your butt on the carpet instead. Would you? Explain like I'm 5. Why are we the only species who needs to use toilet paper? We don't need to at all. People didn't use toilet paper for the first 300,000 years of our history. And less than 30 of modern humans use it today. Haven't seen this mentioned yet. But many animals actually slightly prolapse their rectums when pooping as well as not having massive ass cheeks to get in the way. Dogs do this so it's a pretty clean drop really. How old of an invention do you think toilet paper is? Sitting is not an anatomically good posture to poop in. A low squat is better. Also our diets play a big part of it. Modern processed food being some of the worst. But even natural foods are not natural to humans and we can't break them down fully. There are other factors as well such as being bipedal changing our anatomical layout. Our high level of cleanliness and approaches to achieve it. And societal norms requirements of civilization like waste management. Humans haven't always wiped. And a lot of animals actually do by licking dragging bum etc. I have a very fluffy dog who gets poop stuck in her butt hair even with grooming. So I wipe her with wet wipes because otherwise she smells like poop. Now, I don't need to do that. But I do it to avoid the poop smell. Same with humans. Try shitting outside in a deep squatting position. It's amazing how much less you need to wipe. I have a friend who wipes her dog's butts. I asked her husband when I saw the toilet roll holder mounted by the front door. She said if you wiped your dog's butt once, you'd not let him back in the house without wiping it every time. Don't bears use rabbits? Oops. Thought I was in our jokes. We are the only species to do a lot of unique things. Turns out that having a complex brain and complex thoughts, feelings, self-awareness causes us to do many things that less evolved species don't do. Diet. In our perfect state we're running and climbing and jumping and eating fruit and wild meat and plants. Then our shits slide out perfectly. Are we ignoring all of the animals that wipe with their tongues? I think we used to be able to have super solid formed poops way back in the day when we ate Proper food literally like berries and raw meat and stuff like that. Super basic diet. But since most food is processed now and most of us don't eat nearly as much fiber anymore, our poops are just not the same as they used to be. Toilet paper is a scam. An entire industry built on a lie. A lot of countries use bidets because, well, washing your bum is way more hygienic. South Park did a great episode on this. Because of smeary poops from processed foods, we gave up the ability to cinch off shits cleanly, and in exchange we are able to talk on two legs and run very fast for very long amounts of time. Needs to is relative. My mother's cat really should use TP, but can't, because, well, cat. So shaving is occasionally required back there. You don't need to. Before we had all these inventions, we used to wipe it with our hands. Same can be done today. And in lots of countries it's still a common practice. It's just that once you make a habit of something, you can't easily change it. Especially in developed countries where if you wipe your butt with your hand, people consider it unhygienic. Tears of joy. Some animals lick their butts clean. Others, primarily primates, use leaves. Some drag butt against the floor or other objects to be clean. And some just don't do anything. We actually haven't evolved to need toilet paper. We just use it. The optimal poop position is with your knees up to your stomach length. But most toilets don't work that way. They either let your legs dangle off the sides or are positioned so you're sitting kind of flat. This problem with toilet design makes it so that instead of getting a clean escape, it's just going to smear there. Other animals do clean their butts though, by licking it. So maybe in the future, once we go back to nature, we'll all become bidet users or the other thing. Not meant as a snarky answer. But have you tried a Japanese-style toilet, aka bidet? It has one really big drawback, that you will never again look at toilet paper without disgust. Or at least severe annoyance. So how does a blind person know when to stop wiping? Wait, am I in the wrong sub? Hey, pass that over here. This is a poorly framed question. Humans do not need toilet paper. And many humans do not have access to toilet paper. Additionally, many species would benefit from toilet paper just as much as we do, and for similar reasons. Therefore, my answer is to suggest learning more about actual needs and how framing a question can mislead you in how you answer it. We are the smartest animal. But yet we are the only ones who wear clothes. Wipes after shitten. Pays other people for food. Pays other people for housing. Yay, we are real geniuses. Genny. Smart. Do we really need to? Nah. But we are trained to do so for sanitary reasons. And we are not the only species that can use a toilet. I had 2 cats that learned to use the toilet on their own to do their business, and recently I even watched an iguana peeing in one too. And dogs like to use it as a drinking fountain. Unlike humans and domestic pets, these into the wild don't have cheat meals. Gut microbiome is essential for a mammal to live a fulfilling life. Haven't you have a clear poop? This is a sign your diet is on point. I just realized this for myself. Need is a strong word that shouldn't really apply. We, as humans, like to use toilet paper. But it isn't necessary. I believe that when we evolved, we didn't use toilet paper. It's only when we started farming and got fat asses did the problem start to show itself. But even in today's age, we don't need it. We just like having a clean butt. And not stinking.